We just got started using Parmonic this year, and it's been a terrific resource for us just because, as we've said, in the world that we live in now, and people are so starved for attention and meetings and calendars being full. I mean, so many times people might not necessarily, they might feel intimidated or overwhelmed at the thought of watching like a 45 or 60-minute webinar recording, where we can take Parmonic, and I think we used Parmonic for probably 25 or 30 webinars this year, and we were able to drop our recording in there, and within a day we had the transcript from Parmonic. We had some default recommended snackable clips to use, and then I've been able to go in myself if I needed to do any sort of custom edits, and which has been terrific. And not to mention, I just have to say that the Parmonic service team is really, really outstanding. And anytime I've ever had a technical question or maybe got stumped on something, the team has been more than willing to help me out and address whatever my issue was. So the service has been great. We've been able to append intro and outro videos to kind of snackify further in terms of branding. I mean, so it's one thing to have a clip, but then you always, if you can, you want to try to have your brand and your look and feel in there. So we had like sort of a little video, like a 5-second thing, which we had stuck onto some of the end of our clips, which were great. So I would say we've seen some traction using Parmonic for social. We were using some of the clips in some follow-up emails. I know that we've kind of only scratched the surface though in terms of Parmonic capabilities. Like I know there's some other things which Parmonic can do, like such as being able to embed like codes like for a chronological landing page right out of Parmonic. We haven't been able to do that yet, and I know that in terms of like being able to utilize the trailer videos and your new GIF functionality for making like pre-webinar teasers, we haven't yet been able to implement that. We had sort of a company-wide website replatforming this year. We moved over to Sitecore from AEM. So it's been a really kind of a vast, comprehensive project, which has kind of taken priority in terms of some of these other technical things, which I'd like to be able to do in the future with Parmonic. But I think, like I said, we just scratched the surface, but how we've been able to use it so far has been amazing. And I'll say too, that again, going back to how I personally access content, I mean, I'm often like looking through on like Twitter or social media just for maybe like a highlight of a game or a TV show or something which I might have missed. And it's rare to see someone say, hey, here's a Twitter post, come watch a half an hour recording. It's usually just sort of a snippet to get your interest. So again, looking to how we consume content in our regular lives, I think is the key to understanding how to make webinars really go viral, if you will.
Right, absolutely. I think on social media, most platforms have limitations even around how much video you can upload in terms of duration and such. Like LinkedIn, for example, their limit is about 10 minutes. So you can't even post a video longer than 10 minutes. So having shorter, more snackable, consumable bites, I think that resonates a lot with people like you and I and everybody else that just has short attention spans these days. You shared a little already around the impact, but as you step back, as the year comes to an end, you look at the year past and look at the year ahead. Share with us some, both tangible and intangible impact that perhaps Parmonic has had for you, things that it has allowed you to do that you may not have been able to do in the past.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I can tell you just right off the bat, in terms of like cost effectiveness, being able to use Parmonic has been amazing in that if one was to go through like traditional means of trying to replicate the Parmonic service, I mean, it would require basically hiring a transcriptionist and a freelance video editor who may or may not be the same person. And having worked on projects like that in the past and knowing like what typical rates are for that kind of thing, I mean, I found that Parmonic is extremely reasonable in terms of having a single source cloud-based resource to basically to do all that for us and provide that super high level of service. So, I mean, it's really been, I guess, sort of comforting to know that as webinar volume has increased and our turnaround time has been reduced, we can use Parmonic as needed if we need to quickly pivot on a recording and make some really kind of like snappy, snackable nuggets to repurpose. I mean, I guess it's timely to mention that since last week was Thanksgiving, I'm still trying to clear out my fridge of Thanksgiving leftovers. But I guess with webinars, having a lot of leftovers is a good thing, and being able to use Parmonic to make those nuggets is really kind of key to ensuring that you always have a full fridge of webinar snacks to draw on.